Good morning, friends. This here is Rocky. He is a 5-year-old Maltese Bichon, and he was actually gifted to me by one of my students when he was 3 months old. So he didn't knew Rocky. He didn't knew how to respond to commands, and I had to train him. So it was a very difficult time, like in the beginning, like when he was 4 months, I decided that I'll take him and I'll teach him how to respond to different commands, like to sit, to walk out with me, to lie down on the command. So when he was 4 months, the first time I took him out, and then started a phase of about 15 days. That was terrible for me because, you see, I would take him out with a leash, this thread, so that he would walk with me. And the idea was to teach him to be with me, to walk with me. But when we would go out with him, uh, you know, like he came across, like the place where I lived, just across the road there was a huge forest and a river. So a lot of smells and a lot of things from other dogs there. So he would go and he would be crazy with all the different smell, and he would run here and there. And every time he goes somewhere, I pull him back, and then he finds something else interesting, some other smell interesting there, and he goes there. I pull him back with the leash and bring him close to me. My desire at that time was to teach him to follow me, to walk where I walk. But the thing was, for the first 15 days, it was like he is going somewhere and I'm the one following him. So, yes, he would come out and he would be very excited. But when I say stop, he wouldn't stop. There was no way to make him stop. Here I was the master of a dog, and the dog was supposed to listen to me, but the fact was he acted like a master because I was the one following him. Well, friends, does it sound familiar to you? Because I believe you understand that this is not about Rocky. This is about, we all have an inner Rocky. We all have a mind that is supposed to be our slave. We are supposed to be the master of this mind, but instead of it being our slave, it turns out that we become the slave of our own mind. Because just like the Rocky, there was no way for me to stop him on any command. Do we have any way to stop our mind? Because if we would have the way, mind is an instrumental, a wonderful instrument, but it doesn't listen to us when we want to stop it. That is the problem, isn't it? If we could find a way to stop the rushing of mind on the command, life would be very easier. Well, friends, today I want to share with you a very simple yet very powerful technique which would practically bring your mind to halt within seconds of using it, or at least it will reduce the activities of mind for you. So what do we do? How do we do? Well, what is the problem with the mind? The problem with the mind is the frequency of thought, like one thought after another thought. The frequency of thought and the intensity of thought. Like the thoughts, they feel like very intense, and it feels like we have to act on them. For example, you are sitting with your friends, and suddenly there is a strong urge inside that I need to check my mobile phone. Or you are sitting with your friends having a dinner, and suddenly a phone rings, and it feels we have a strong urge right now to respond to that. And what happens to what is happening around us right now? What happens to the moment where we are with friends? We are not able to be in that moment. Mind tries to pull us away for whatever it thinks is important to us. So the real problem with mind is the intensity of the thoughts and emotions, and the frequency, the continuity of the thoughts which keeps coming on. And because of that, so many problems arises, like stress and sleeplessness and whatnot. So our task is, if we can reduce the activity of mind in some way, or if we can stop the activity of mind for some time, it creates a kind of vacuum, and in that vacuum it is possible to meet our real self, which is the master of the mind. So this technique is about putting a stop button on the mind, and this is how we do that. Imagine if I have to talk to you. Let's say I could talk to you for 15-20 minutes, and all the time doing something like this, like this, like this, any moment, any mechanical moment, and it would not stop me uh, continuing this talk, because when the moments are mechanical, uh, you know, they are automatic. And you have seen people, like the people, they tap their leg all the time, or I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is that any fast mechanical movement is always automatic, but something unusual happens when you try to make very slow movements with any parts of your body. For example, uh, let's say this hand, you see, this movement, this does not interrupt my thinking, this does not stop my thought process. I could do it, I could read a book uh, while doing this thing. But what if I ask you to do something similar but in a different way? Imagine these are two hands, right? So whenever you want to immediately slow down the activity of mind, this is what you can do. You can bring in your two hands. The goal is to make them meet, okay, but not to make them meet like this, okay. But imagine that for some reason you have installed a speed controller in your hands, and now the speed of the movement of hand is kind of 50-60 times slower than the normal speed. So imagine that, in fact not imagine, but try it now, that your hands are getting closer but very slowly. The movement itself is super slow, so slow that it might take about 3 to 4 minutes for the hands to come together. Don't just listen to me, stop the video right now. Yes, stop the video and try it yourself and see what happens. So if you stop the video here and if you tried this, you would notice that when you try to continue the movement but with such a slow speed, it is not possible to get involved in the mental activity. In a way, mind suddenly slows down, because this very slow movement is, it is not possible to do it unconsciously, it is not possible to do it automatically. The only way you can make such a slow movement is when you are absolutely conscious here, and when you are totally conscious here, mind stops. So next time when you feel you are unable to sleep, or you are taken over by some intense worries. See, I'm not saying that worry is bad. I'm saying is worry is worry. For example, if you have to do some things, if you have to achieve something and you are not able to achieve, maybe because of that you are worrying. So do those things, but do what is needed to do. But the important thing is there is no need to suffer because of intense mental activity. So anytime you create this kind of vacuums of mental activity, your consciousness grows higher, bigger and bigger, like larger and larger. You become more and more conscious. So this is a simple practice. You don't have to do a lot of in this practice, and it could be done anytime, whenever there is hyperactivity in your mind, whenever you feel you are not able to relax. Even this simple practice will bring relaxation, because relaxation, for body it's very easy to relax. The problem is the mind does not let the body relax. So when you slow down the movements of the hands, and when you make such slow totally slow movements, all of your mental activities will come to halt. a stop, or at least they will slow down immensely. Friends, try it out and let me know your experiences. I'll be waiting for them. See you tomorrow with the new video. We'll resume the topic of relationships and love. Until then, have a great day. Thank you very much. Cut it.